Gonna start it all up
Greetings.
here. Greetings. All right, we're back at it. Part 2 of this episode begins now. Bo, take it away.
The crowd before you is chanting, Enjogalom as a Kamenokat, Enjogalom as an a Kamenokat. And they're chanting, and then Nobieri raises a hand up, and everyone stops. And he turns to you and leans in and whispers, and he says, "You should address your people now. Search yourself and you will know what to say, but..." And he puts a hand on your shoulder. He says, "Say nothing of your dealings with the Weir."
Hope will nod. Take a deep breath. And she'll look out on all of those faces. The faces of her friends, the faces of her people. And she'll slowly stand up. And she'll get a sly smile on her face and she'll look at Burrell. And she'll do a little nod and look at the Suckmaster in front of him. Like a little kill him kind of a look.
Whoa.
And she'll wait.
Bro will clasp a fist and agree to the eyes and swing the sword up and around and down on the Suckmaster.
Attack with advantage.
All right.
Sucks to be the Suckmaster.
17.
He looks up in horror from Aladwir as you bring the sword up, your shadow over top of him. And his hands shoot up as he goes, "Nope!" But before he can utter a complete sentence, the sword comes down and you decapitate him.
Okay, so as the blood is pouring from this guy, Hope's gonna bend down with 4 fingers, dip it in the blood, and then run it across her face. And stand up and face her people. And she'll say, "Welcome. I know not how long you've been gone. But I am happy to see you here. We've all been betrayed. But we will rebuild. This is our home, and no one else's." And then she'll sit down.
And you see nodding. Everyone's quiet. And then, as the tieflings look to one another, there's some murmuring here. As people begin speaking quietly to one another. A rather large-looking tiefling in plate mail, black plate mail, extends a foot out and rises to his feet. He takes his helmet off. His figure is large and strong. He's green. He's got a Chris Hemsworth look to him.
Remember him from the solar mines.
Long, smooth horns extending upward and not back. Symmetrical. A beacon of male virility. He looks to the people behind him, then looks to you, and he says, "Queen, I am Melgor of Poxis. I'm father of the Order of Poxis. I request your permission to send teams to secure this location."
Hope will nod. It's one solemn.
He turns around and he points 2 fingers over to the side, and 2 tieflings get up. "Assemble your teams. Kill any who resist." And then they themselves, the 2 he points to, begins pointing to others, and certain members in the crowd rise and begin making their way to the back. They're all heavily armored, black plate mail, swords, shields. And they all are strong, men and women, as they move to the back of the room and begin forming teams and leave. Melgor turns to you again. He says, "We have been gone a long time, according to Nobieri. But from what we can feel, it is as if it's only been minutes. When we left, the Cursed Ones were taking over everything, slaughtering us. Are they still here?"
Septwin is gone. I don't know if he left anybody behind. But if you find any, drag them into the sun.
The traitor lives. Still.
I will find and kill him.
So, we remain in danger, and we must be ever vigilant and protect our queen, as he turns to address the crowd, from its threat. Thank you to the ingenuity of our dead tongue, Nobieri. We have survived for now. Another tiefling rises to the left, wearing robes. He doesn't look armored. He looks like more of a, not a commoner, because he has the clothes of nobility, but not someone of combat. Says, "I am Fula Dentipilius. I am from the house which provides for the Tiet Kelin. How do the farms fare? Will there be food?"
Our entire stay here, there's been food. There may be some sort of insect infestation. So be wary when you check on the farms.
We would like to make that our first priority, Your Highness.
Yes.
Another tiefling gets up from the right side. "I am Relium Vanch. I see the structure of the keep is in shambles. With your permission, we wish to assess the extent of the damage and begin the repairs. I can see even now the great halls of the Akamenos fortress have been destroyed. Look at the damage to the wall, to the throne room. Please tell us what happened here."
There was a great battle. And the four of us came out victorious, and I'll nod to Nash, Stanley, and Varel.
But what happened?
Giants.
Who were we fighting?
Vampires. Men, humans with guns.
You hear from a collective groan at the mention of the word human. Like, ugh.
Hope will remain stoic.
I look slightly annoyed, but it's fine.
Nobieri gets up and says, Now, there will be many questions, and we will have time to answer all. Our queen is committed to leading Tiet Kala back to its glory, but we can't do this all now. Please help Melgor assess the damage and find out what hostiles remain. Otherwise, help Fula or Relem with their efforts. We will meet again tomorrow here and have a council with all. For now, please leave the queen. We have council. And as if with purpose, the tieflings begin getting up, forming into groups, and making their way outside with purpose as they go out to assess the damage and conduct work outside. And the Nobieri, as the people exit, turns to you and he says, You handled that well, child.
Thank you, Novieri.
But we must have a war council. And he turns to Melgor and says, Melgor, come. And then Melgor and Nobieri begin making their way to a door behind the throne room to another room.
I'll get up and I'll motion to Stanley, Varel, and Nash to follow.
Okay. You also notice as you get up, two of the tieflings, a woman and a man, actually run in your direction after Melgor sort of points to them. They run to your direction and then stand on either side of you.
Oh, nice. I'll nod at both of them very stoically.
Okay. So Melgor and Nobieri make their way to a doorway in the back. They open it up, they move in, and disappear from view.
All right, with the four of us, I guess we'll head to the back.
Okay. So one of the guards rushes ahead of you and opens the door for you, and you make your way through. Now, who's going through next?
Well, that's an ominous question.
I would go right after.
Okay. Varel, you begin to walk through the door, and one of the guards turns around to you and checks you with the spear they have in hand.
Checks me?
Takes the thing and shoves you with it crossways.
Like a hockey player.
Pushes you back.
Excuse me.
Hearing that, that's when
You
Hope
hear
will
that.
turn around.
Yep.
Let them through. They are my counsel.
He looks back to you and nods and steps away from Varel.
And I'll enter.
He's so
All right.
annoyed.
Varel, you enter. Nash and Stanley, you follow. And you make yourselves... you enter into a small... Like, it's still a large room, but a smaller room. The shelves are empty. There's suits of armor. Various... just like there's a sextant on one side. The tools of a war room you see around. But no maps, no materials. This looks like an unused room. Once everyone's inside, Melgor nods to one of the guards, and they close the door.
What's a sextant? I don't know what that is.
Google it. It's a device to find your way around on a map, particularly used in, I think, like nautical navigation.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. It measures an angular distance between 2 points, two
All
visible objects. There
All
you
right.
go. It's a big, fancy-looking device.
I missed that.
I remember it because I got a sextant in Ultima 4 when I was a kid, and I was like,
Whoa.
Oh, really?
what is that? It was always a weird object to me.
That's insane. All right.
Yeah. A little bit of trivia for you there. So you enter into the room, and you see these devices. You see the table. Nobieri looks around to everyone and says, all right, what we discuss in here must stay in this room. Is this understood? Melgor nods slowly. He looks to the four of you. Well, the three
Hope
of
will
you.
nod.
He's not concerned about Hope agreeing.
Nod.
I'll nod.
Yeah.
Melgor looks to Nobieri and he says, why are they allowed in here?
They are my counsel.
They are not tiefling.
Many things have changed since you've been gone.
The lizard folk, I understand. But the smelly ones, the humans,
You can trust them as much as you can trust the lizard folk.
what are the names?
Stanley and Nash and Varel.
Very well. I am not an easy tiefling to please. But if you are on the side of Tiet Kaleen, then you are with me. He nods, he's not getting a response back, and Nobiari looks and says, "So, Hope, what happened with Septuin? You told them that the vampire was still alive. I was a little worried it might cause some panic. But it seems the people are behind you."
He was in here on the throne, and he said he would relinquish it to me because we killed Kalefi, and we found that apparently Kalefi promised Tietkala to Andriesta, the demon.
Mildred
So
looks
she'll
up
be
and he
back
goes,
at some point.
"What?" And he panics and looks to Nobieri and looks to you and says, "Are we in danger? Have we brought everyone back and walked into a trap?" Nobieri looks to you for an answer.
I'll look at Stanley, Nash, and Varel. Not until the principal is destroyed, correct?
I was under the impression that demons couldn't manifest on the surface world as long as the principle was in place.
Hope will nod.
Nobieri looks and says, "Ketobelpraith made no mention of this to me." So we are safe.
For now, it would seem.
Are there any other hostiles in the city proper?
The only others I can think of, aside from the gang members that might still be alive, the farms, there might be giant insects, humanoid size down there. They work through mind control, but we never went over there to check ourselves.
Milgor nods. He says, "I will send my best men to examine this. Anything else?"
And I'll look to Nash, Stanley, and Varel. If there's anything else they remember.
The wedding celebration parties that were to arrive in their vehicles.
And Toyota host. Wouldn't they have been here by now?
I don't know, we spent a lot of time underground. It's hard to say exactly how much time has passed.
True. So an external force might be showing up.
Very well, we will send the rangers out to examine the outskirts and assess any threats coming our way.
Keep your eye out for a big cyclops named Glorp. Or Gorp. Orp.
He looks to you up, he says, "Does the smelly one speak true?"
Yes.
It's
There
been
is
it's been a very long time since we've seen him, and he could be just marauding around, and should just keep your eyes open.
I mean, I'd be rather surprised if he found his way here, but I suppose he is unaccounted for.
Melgor looks to you, Hope, and he says, "I would not give you reason to worry. You've been among humankind's far too long. We are tieflings. One of us is worth 20 of them. We will keep this place safe."
And pixies. We can't see them, but
Pixies,
there
too.
are pixies in the town.
Very well.
And they're probably pissed.
One more thing comes to mind, the brood of the Froghemoth.
Oh. But would they even survive without the parent?
They're an amphibian in nature, and they do not need the parent once they've hatched.
They're at the bottom of the pit, and they still should be.
What is a froghemoth?
A giant frog monster who is huge and had teeth, and we were inside of it for a little bit.
I assume this was some kind of aberration summoned by an apostate.
Maybe.
There's a pit in town, you say?
Yes, at the front of this structure.
I will
I have
send
a
a
pit.
squadron to examine it. What else?
I think that might be everything.
Very
Don't
well.
underestimate
Nobieri,
the
we will get
bug.
this town under control. Oh,
From what we've heard, this creature that might be lurking around, the insect, is very formidable. I think it's called a lactid.
I've never heard of such a creature. We will look for it. Anything you can tell my men that I send out once council adjourns, you should do so. Can I rely on you to do that, Stanley?
Sure.
Very well. Now we have something to discuss with you, Hope. Or you said your name might be Orifi? I think we were
Orifi.
drowned out during the chanting.
Yes. Orifi.
Nobieri tells me that you come from the wastes. That he sent a child out and some caregivers to protect the line, and you've been lived away from Tiet Kala for many, many generations.
Yes.
You will have to undergo an education because it might sound like a nice thing to discover you're a queen, but you have much to learn.
What do you mean, education? There'll be no
I mean,
brainwashing here.
I mean about the history of the houses. Say Fula would like to have an increase in the resources to man the farms, but that means pulling some folk from Relim. What impact does that have? Do you know? The houses of Tiet Kala have all cooperated for centuries. Navigating these venomous snakes, if I'm being completely honest, will require some formation.
Hope will nod.
Very well. That means, as much as you value your counsel of these men, they will offer you nothing in Tiet Kala. My counsel to you is, Queen, offer them a life here, a good life, a farm. If they helped you and are the heroes you say, let them want for nothing, but they cannot help you for your future here. You will be bound to this place. Every day new problems will arise, and you will have to counsel the leaders of the houses to keep their flocks in line. It's different than wandering the wastes and slaying any problem too difficult to solve with a few words. We also have to discuss, and he sort of blushes a bit and he says, we have to discuss contingency, lineage. Are you able to sire children?
No.
Excuse me?
No.
Excuse me.
He looks at Nobier and he's like, how does she know this?
It was an accident when I was a child.
Nobier sort of looks. Well, perhaps this is a problem we can consult the spirits about. I know that there are ways to undo such curses. It might be overwhelming for you to discuss this now, but I am a dead tongue. I speak with the spirits of our ancestors. Surely we have come across this problem before. It is important, your duty as leader, to carry on the Akmenos line, and we will help you to do this.
I'm just really quiet, staring at the table.
Melgor, this is a lot for her for one day. We will continue tomorrow. Very well. Stanley, if you will come with me, you appear to have knowledge of the dangers of this town.
Of
Please come with
course.
me.
Yes, I'd be happy to help.
And he walks out of the room, and you follow.
Yeah.
You see Angelashi waiting outside, just sort of sitting. She looks up to see who it might be, and it's not Nash, so she looks back down.
There's no interest in your plant, dude.
Stanley, a goblin might be lost among the ramparts.
I'll let them know, Varel.
Blowy!
He's holding them off with his blowy.
All right. So Stanley exits. Nobieri says, "Thank you. I must go rest.
Thank you,
My time in the weir was exhausting.
Take
We
all
will
the
dis-
time you need.
I will return to my quarters downstairs." And he also leaves the room, leaving the three of you in the council room.
Hope will kind of exhaustedly throw her arms on the table and rest on them. I can't be stuck here, guys.
Big responsibility, Hope. I pace back and forth, folded arms, looking down at her. This is
We
kind of
made it.
this is a big deal. You can't just walk in here and pretend like you're not in charge now. You're the boss. What are you going to do with all this responsibility?
I don't know. We can't stay here forever.
There's no need. They desire a brood, and you can leave them one. With their magical
Can't fix me.
aid.
But how long would that be? How long would that take?
How long do your people gestate with the aid of magic?
I don't know with magic.
We have 1,000 days, give or take a month. There is time for us to rebuild, to secure our footing in the southern place of this land. It is a good position for all of the wastes.
Yes. And if we spend some time here, maybe we could all study with somebody. You could study war tactics. Nash, you could study magic. Stanley could study magic. We get stronger or something.
It's a little overwhelming for poor Hope.
I'm at a loss for words.
I agree. We came together as Hillguard, and we were not prepared for the rule we find ourselves in. Time will be most welcome, and we should fortify ourselves with it.
And I can't rule this place without you guys. I hope you know that.
Will we be allowed to? They seem rather...
I'm the queen. They have to let me.
Well, it seems that it will be a real test for their willingness to let you make all the shots. I personally have no problem with that. Throw your weight around. See if we can't, I don't know, prove their worth by seeing if they'll abide by your ruling or if they just intend for you to be a puppet for these people.
I won't be a puppet.
We've seen our share of puppets in our time together. And if Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines has anything to do with it, Hope will not be one of them. And while I say that, I am stoic as shit looking. Just like mind-bendingly stoic. Left you all speechless. Hold on, I think I lost everybody. Hold on. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Sorry.
Are we still on the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know. Everything kind of went weird for a minute. It appears to be okay now. Yeah, I think it's okay now. Sorry, continue on. Where the hell were we?
Well, you never froze for us, so
Yeah,
what
you
was
guys.
the last thing you got?
Is that why you were talking over me?
Yes, because but at some point I got to the point where I made my stoic face, and then nobody said anything for a long time. And I looked at the screen, and your faces were all just looking like this, but it didn't occur to me that you weren't moving. So
Well, we actually heard it all.
So I
So
waited.
yeah.
Yeah, so I waited a little longer, and then you still weren't moving. So I came back into the call, and now you're all moving again. So
But I don't know what was picked up on the recording and what wasn't.
nothing you said was picked up. It was all just dead silence on
Well,
my end.
Stanley's returned back to the room after having done consulting with Melgar.
Oh, good. All right.
I consulted with Melgor. I told him about the Lactid, what we know. I believe they will exercise, hopefully, proper caution, though these tieflings are certainly full of themselves. I also told them to keep an eye out for Bok Bok, that he is an ally and should be brought to us, just to say Vorel if he gives them any trouble. I told him about the 26 block, the Toe Rippers, the Pixies, and even to keep an eye out for that gnome Softhead. So I think that covers most of the bases. Everyone in here is looking awfully stoic.
Thank you, Stanley.
I did not enjoy hearing our adversaries listed as such. It makes me feel old.
What?
Hearing them all in one pile like that. Have we really upset so many people in the Waste?
We certainly have a habit of not making friends. The list seems to grow longer and doesn't often shrink.
I mean, we just got an army on our side, so that's something.
That is a big list of friends.
So, what did I miss?
Hope is to be burdened in policy.
But I can't do this without you guys.
So,
But we can't stay here forever.
no, we use the time we have. We grow stronger.
And now we have this principal question. If we destroy him, that means Andriesta as well as Katobalpraith gains access.
There is a logic that follows that the death of the principal might also mean the death of Tietkala. If Monsoon's correct about what he says.
That's true. He is a liar.
Liar pants.
Either way, it seems like we are going to be setting up roots for at least a little while we find a way to set up shop here to some degree. Might not be bad to have a place we know is friendly that we can return to. There's not a lot of those out there.
No. And also, I was thinking maybe we could each find someone or a group to train with. There's no telling the knowledge these people have.
It's not a bad idea. I am curious if there are any survivors out there in Trashburg. It certainly didn't seem that way, but what are your plans for the people that were here before? If there any remain.
I say, if they were just people, we give them a place. Yeah. We integrate them into society, but if they were part of the gangs, if they were part of the police, we execute them. We scrub it clean. We can't trust those. But the regular people, they were just trying to make do.
It does seem if you'd like to make points with the humans, or with the people here, rather. You know, a benevolent approach would be better.
Yeah.
At least toward them.
To let them all live?
Well,
It's hard to tell what the 26 Block gang believes or knows. They definitely worked for the enemy, but so did we.
That's a fair point.
They're easy enough to identify. They've decided to advertise it all over themselves. I think the people here deserve a shot, if any remain. Let them see what a ruler who's going to treat them just and fair offers them.
Okay. So, a fresh start for everyone.
If they're willing to take it.
That's fair. How would you suggest then we ask them if they're willing to take it? And if they refuse?
You can bring them before me. With the eye, I can judge those that are worthy.
Pharrell, the eye didn't judge me worthy.
You use weaponry that is less than noble.
I just want you to know that.
It is a fair point. The scroungers will likely be overall unworthy.
And the big question becomes, how do we control the tieflings around however many humans are still alive? We can't have a segregated neighborhood for just the humans. But I don't know how quickly these people would take in humans who they so clearly dislike.
Well, they listen to you.
Yeah. I guess if the humans can do a job, they do the job.
They have a job.
Regardless of where it is, the castle, out in town, on the farms.
We have farms, we have a refinery to keep up. That is where we get the oil, where we will build our funds to run a war.
Yes.
but again, it will prove their fealty to you. If they don't like your choices and they start going over your head, then we know that this is all for naught and we can kill them all.
Or we could exile them from the city, Nash.
Well, that works too, but I'm just saying this is a great test of that. Either way, if we're not sure, this is how we find out. We command them through their new queen. If they don't follow those orders or try to usurp her or grumble and, decide that she's not fit to be their queen and they're just giving us lip service, well, then we'll know and we'll act accordingly. Cast them out or kill them.
Start to learn which of the families we can trust. Yes. Okay.
You'll learn fast who we trust and who we don't.
Varel, you mentioned something about Guzbucks? To the slave? The Suckmaster?
Yes. They're broken currency that keeps all trapped here. I would request, my queen.
No, please.
Oh, it's fun to say.
Not with us.
Very well. But it is fun to say. Very well. I request that we move to a system that doesn't require the use of a unshareable currency that locks all here. And if we do banish them, they can be gifted an amount that would allow them some sort of passage.
Alright. So, gold. I think that's the only thing we've found works in every town we've gone to.
In fact, this could very well be a part of the pod that we have proposed. The Pillars of Decency. For all men here.
I feel a
And
certain
women. And creatures.
a certain pain
Up
to
to
my
you, Kyle.
heart when he says that. I hear him say pod, and I just feel a little sad for a minute.
So, what were they?
We never wrote them down.
Oh
We
no!
were in Nobieri's office, and I said, let's write them, and then we never did. We got busy with eyeballs and whatnot.
Well, now would be a perfect time to begin crafting them.
Do we have the
mean-
paper?
Maybe not literally right now, but
Oh.
now in the general sense of we have some downtime, it seems.
Very good.
Well, I think that's all of the major stuff we could possibly talk about. Unless you all have thoughts.
I
I
would
do
only
have one large request.
go.
We need to scout Principal City. There's no use in all we're doing to be moving off of rumors, even if they come from a Weir Lord.
Should we? When you say we, you mean us, or should we dig deep into this new army we have and send our best?
I think we would send someone in this case. Even if we decide to set out on the next leg of our journey, it takes us the opposite direction. But to that end, Hope, I do have a few requests I would make of you, if you would be so inclined.
Of course.
I happen to know that Buttons had a room somewhere within the keep or this area. If anyone should stumble upon it, I would very much appreciate having my book returned to me.
Yes.
Furthermore, as of late, I have had to watch my own hands hurt a great deal of people. It's something I'm not proud of, and I would very much like to do all that I can to make amends for it. To that end, if you can find any books or anyone among your people that is capable of medicine, aid, other resources, I'm afraid this town is very much down a doctor, though he might have not been very good to begin with. I would like to put something in place that can care for the people here.
Yeah. I think we could do that.
Thank you.
Stanley, old softy.
I believe we have an errand. We should also find out if George's family survived or not.
Yeah. I'll dig into my cloak and bring out that doll. We made a promise, and Stanley offered to go with me. So at some point, we need to go do this.
We do.
Perhaps we can do that while we send off those who we choose to scout Principal City.
We'll figure out a time, but you and I can see to it easily enough.
Okay.
But also, I think a celebration is in order. I think drinks were promised in the stomach of that foul creature that we were drugged through. And I plan to make good on that.
It would be good for morale as well. All these new subjects. Show them that you know how to party.
We are stocked for a party in the cellar.
Tonight.
Oh wow, tonight.
Why wait?
Sounds like a hands in kind of thing. Are we tonight? Tonight!
Yes! And then a hand goes in on top of Rel.
I go ahead and put my hand in.
I do it as well. Part of in Nash's mind, he wants to tell you guys about an old film they showed him at the Solar Mines when a bunch of people put their hands together and then Don't You Forget About Me played after, but he's not going to do it.
Okay.
He feels like it would be a mistake to ruin the moment here.
All the same, Varel breathes deep and says, "We are beyond heroes. We need a new name. We are rulers."
As you make that statement, you hear a commotion go on outside.
Oh shit.
There's a little bit of banging. And like you hear some voices go, and then you hear a on the.
Yes?
Sorry to bother you. We have Melgor sends this one to you, and you hear like quiet, and you hear a boom.
No! Open the door.
You open the door, and one of the guard stands, enters in, moves to the side. Then another one comes in, and you see a manacled Bok with like a cloth canvas wrapped around his mouth. He's like,
Let him out. Let
throw
him free.
Okay, and the guard kneels down and undoes the manacles, and then takes off the gag, and then Bok
No!
like bites him on the helmet, and is like,
Varel?
doesn't-
Yeah, Varel. Get in there, Varel.
Tell him.
I'm gonna grab him by the loincloth and pull him back to me.
and he goes,
I'll nod to the guard. Thank you.
of course, mixing up accents. And they bow in what's this saying? In Jogalomesh Akamenokat. And they both bow to you and exit. But just as you exit, you see Angela Ashley in the doorway going, Nash, you in there? And the door closes.
I'm here.
Quick, we need a name, and then we can go.
Rulers of the Wastes. It feels like that's where he was headed with that.
You really tapped into the wells of creativity there with that one, didn't you, Nash?
Well, it seemed like that's where Varel was headed. Because we're no longer heroes of the Waste, he says. He says we're rulers. I just took the natural next step, but I don't have skin in this game, as they say. You call me what you want.
As a player, do you have skin in this game? Or
Well, yeah. But I just mean
I don't know if it's character RP or if it's Scott being like, who cares?
No. I'm saying Nash generally doesn't care what anyone's called. He will always be Nash Magard of the Solar Mines. It's all that matters to him. And he's loyal to this team, but what we're called is not important to him.
Well, did you have something in mind for El?
I merely meant to inspire. It will come to us in time, then.
Yes.
Bok Bok? And in Goblin, I'll say to him, "You shall be trained as a squire."
He looks down and goes, Squire fresh!
Indeed.
Eat Squire!
Well, shall we?
Out the door with heads high.
All right. And you proceed to exit with your heads high. Are you going to go and tell people about this party, or is there a plan?
Yes, I have those two guards that were guarding the door, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I will come out and I'll turn to them and I'll go inform whoever needs to be told. Everyone celebrates tonight. We will drink this fortress dry.
Yes, my lady. I will fetch Fula. He's the master of revels. He will know what to do.
Thank you.
I will send him to you right away.
They
You have
have
a
a
master
master
of
of revels.
Yes.
And Jogalom as
Hope's mouth
commando
kind of
kit.
drops.
Congratulations, Hope, a master of revels.
I didn't know.
That is
That's
fine
ex-
indeed.
As you
Fancy.
exit the room, Angelashi runs up to you, Nash, and goes, "Oh, thank you," and then she kisses you deeply.
All right.
Hope will
Are
kind of
you still uncomfortable with this? Do you want to?
No,
Does
no,
Nash
no.
want to kiss back?
I'll
or-
kiss back. I'm happy to see her. I'm still a little shocked that she's not dead, though.
Okay. So you passionately kiss her back, and you put an arm around her under, both one arm under, and then your baby hand comes crawling out. also, and also hugs her. She goes, "Ooh." She looks at it and giggles and thinks it's all right and continues.
She
to
thinks it's all right.
She's into your baby arm, man.
She's perfect.
Yep, find a girl that loves you for your baby arm.
Yeah.
That looks at you the way she looks at your baby arm.
Yeah.
and we'll sort of zoom out of this scene where there's a PDA going on, and Hope and Varel and Stanley and Bok are watching it, and Bok hand kind of reaches into his pants, and, and he goes fresh, and and then you and your baby hand and Angelashi are making out,
Yeah.
and so we get to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where this arc of the story is concluding.
Wow.
And I don't know if you want to play act some more scenes with the revelry and things of that nature, but effectively, congratulations, you've rescued Tiet Kala, we'll say, for now, from the clutches of evil.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations to Hope on becoming a queen.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
And the way that we're going to proceed with this next little bit is that I think several months will pass as you come into your own as queen. This leaves the players a lot of options as to what they would like to do in that time. And if you don't know what it is now, you don't have to. Certainly, if you give me that information on Slack, Hope, about what people had asked you to do,
Mhm.
I can come back with results. But if you have a sense of what you would do with some time as the days turn into weeks and you begin your education and you begin grappling with questions like, can I have sire heir? What are my priorities with respect to rebuilding Tiet Kala? All those things I'd be interested in knowing, so that when we pick back up, Tiet Kala will be in some shape of rebuilding, and you guys will have perhaps undertaken some objectives of your own. As we pick the game back up on the next arc, you will be at level 7.
Sweet.
So part of this
Yes.
time off will be to maybe learn that new spell, or train in the ways of combat, or study in some way as to progress your character in that manner.
Oh, I'm so excited.
All right. So we don't have to have all the answers now, but certainly I will take down anything anyone is interested in or any questions regarding this. What would they say? This more positive time of your life, as I think generally speaking, Tiet Kala will become a stable kingdom, and people will know, if not happiness, at least a little peace.
Can you give us an idea on how much time that is? Like
I'm thinking roughly 3 months. but
okay,
I'm
about 3
gonna be
months of
flexible on it.
90 days of living and settling in and doing our thing.
Yeah, maybe Nash, for example, if you said that you wanted to settle down with Angelashi and try and have a baby,
Mm-hmm.
I can write that down.
I'm a little worried about how we do it. I don't have.
I'll get back
Would it
to
be
you
half
on the
point?
results of it. What I'd like to know is what you guys intend to accomplish,
Okay.
and I'll tell you if it works or not. Maybe we'll roll some dice to figure it out offline.
Mhm.
Maybe you have more questions. But yeah, just for conclusion's sake, Hope, you do speak to your master of revels, Fula, and he prepares the most wondrous of parties, and you drink yourself into a stupor. Maybe Nash got Angelashi pregnant that night. I don't know. He might have said no, like I counseled him to, if he really doesn't want to do that kind of thing. Yeah.
I like the idea of getting pregnant.
You know,
I have an
don't know what
idea, but
happens.
I'll tell you offline my idea. I have an idea.
Yeah, I don't know if the queen feels that she can take from any of her subjects in order to satisfy, if that's a thing or not. But maybe that's tonight. You get lucky too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, Hope's jumping.
I don't know if Stanley or Varel are
Just line 'em
interested in
up.
that kind of adventure at the. You are a hero after all, and great men.
You deserve a little side nookie. Is what he's saying.
No, Stanley's not interested yet.
I can't wait till the monastery arc where Stanley joins the monastery.
I know you've had a real problem with his.
I'm like, he's
honor.
the bard. He's the one that should be laying the most seed.
Hey, you know what? Go
Like-
against type sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a criticism, just a
Observation.
you're usurping my expectation.
Yeah.
So congratulations, everyone! Give yourself a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Woo! We've all lived and survived. A couple of hairy moments.
Yeah.
So a lot of parties don't make it to level 7 because they die, or they just stop playing Dungeons and Dragons. So congratulate yourself on both fronts.
Yeah, feels good.
And for the listeners out there, this also constitutes our first year of playing this campaign. And I got to say, I've played a lot of D&D, but most campaigns peter off after like a couple months.
Mhm.
So this is the longest stretch I've ever played D&D for, with the same characters and the same people. And I think we're not only are we going to do a break here for the 3 months, we're also planning for the show to take a little time away from this campaign. Don't anyone panic. It might be, have we decided it's 1 to 3 weeks?
I can't remember what we decided. Did we decide? I don't remember.
We didn't decide, but
I don't
we
know
can
if we
talk about it now
decided.
on the show.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to talk about this on the show now. And but what's going to happen is during that time, I'm going to go take away all that I've learned in my first year and come up with another, hopefully, fun and engaging second year for our adventures in what we're sort of loosely calling the Dragon Engine campaign. I think is what we're almost codename Dragon Engine, anyways, for now. So. This campaign, some of what we wanted to do next week is I think we've heard a lot about you from the listeners about what happened if this would have happened, and what was Hope thinking when she slept with Tedna, and everyone found out about that, right?
Biggest question.
Yeah. And things of that nature. So we want to do like a retrospective, and I think that's what we'll do next week. So we will be here with another episode on Saturday, but we're going to take a look back. So Scott, the place to send their questions would be
Just go to the website, go to therewillbedungeons.com, and there's a contact link up at the top. Hit that, and you can send us whatever you want. The other option is reply to us on Twitter at therebedungeons and it doesn't have to be a reply. It can actually just be a random tweet, but to use the hashtag TWBD. So hashtag TWBD. That way I can filter through them if you'd rather do that. So you have the email, contact, website option, or you can do that, and we'll get them that way as well.
Yeah. So get us your
We'll
questions.
eat 'em.
We'll take lots of questions. We'll go, if we have 3 hours worth of questions, we'll do 3 hours worth of questions. We'll go as long as it makes sense next week. But part of the fun of playing D&D is not only playing it, but talking about the game. And that's something we don't have a lot of unless you hang out on the live show after or before a little bit. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then in between week 2 and week 3, John wants to try DMing again. So we're going to figure out, he's got a very interesting little world he's built up, and I know I'm super intrigued by it. So we may run a 1-shot or 2 or 3 episode mini campaign during the interim while we get year 2 prepped up for There Will Be Dungeons, the Dragon Engine campaign. So again, congratulations, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being amazing players. I think one of the messages I get the most of throughout the year is, how do you get your players to like not interrupt each other, to role play so much, to be like they're funny and entertaining? And I'm like, I did nothing. I literally, it's not a DM advice that I could give that would make each of you the way that you are. So thank you for being great players to play with.
Yeah, I get that all the time as well on the outside, like just messages. I'll get a lot of PSs for other shows, like another show. I'll get an email for the instance, and they'll say, "P.S. I'm curious, who who told, or whose idea was it to have Varel be stoic and so victory minded that he sometimes is just completely horrible in social situations or something like that? And my answer is that's pure Varel. Like, that doesn't come from anything. There's no book. There's no whatever. That's just Kyle finding this place that we all think is awesome and hilarious and running with it. And I think that's pretty much true across the board. So
I actually don't know how he does it.
I don't
It's
either.
impressive.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's some of my favorite stuff.
I feel like he is Varel.
Yeah.
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 Well, thanks for building a world that we can have these
Yeah.
characters in, man. Like, it. While sometimes we've pressed you and it's been accidental, there is repeat, dare I say, genius in the world that you've built, and it is a savage world that has been a delight to play in.
And the
Yeah.
callbacks, man.
Yeah.
The callbacks are so good.
They're really strong.
Forget about something, and then 10 episodes later, throwing it back in there. Oh,
It's good. Yeah.
It's a satisfying feeling when that stuff works, for sure.
like Angela Ashley today. Ah.
Yeah.
Ah,
I
she
made
came
you
back.
think she was dead.
Yeah.
So. And Pod died and she really died, but you can be mad at John for that.
Yeah.
Oh!
I didn't kill her.
Yep.
I
That's
will
true.
say, a little behind the scenes, I told Scott I intended to kill her before that.
He did.
episode.
He basically what he said to me is, I don't want you to feel
Oh, and
like
I knew about it too.
I'm completely hosing you here, or that I'm trying to screw you on the show by doing this to a character you clearly like. But this is what Diane Talis would do. And my response is, he should 100% do whatever Diane Talis would do, and Nash will do 100% whatever he's going to do, however he's going to react. And the truth is, I think during these 3 months, there's going to be some time for him to stew on what happened there, and build up a little additional animosity that perhaps wasn't there before because he hasn't had time to calm down and think about it. So we'll see if a little PTSD pod comes in. PTSD.
Well, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested to actually hear. No, I won't hold you to it if you say it on the show, but interested to hear what you think your characters might do for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If you already have an idea.
PTSD now stands for Pod Traumatic Stress Disorder.
Okay,
And we'll
so
see.
Nash will be formulating a plan of revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Of some sort. Yeah. I have to think about it hard because Stanley, as much as Stanley and I disagree sometimes, he's not the problem here. So I have thoughts on that.
And don't say it if you intend to keep it a secret, because you may split off and do your own things. I kind of thought maybe Varel was going to go scout out Principal City, during that time. Who knows what they'll be doing over the 3 months.
Could.
Yeah, good.
I am tempted to do that, but I'm also kind of in love with the idea of Varel putting on a suit and running Charlemagne's for 3 months.
Well, we would call it Varel's now, or would you keep Charlemagne's name?
Oh, it'd be called the Golden Scales.
I love it, dude. He already has a name for it.
Oh.
I like it.
This is some serious thought. He's like, I
Yeah.
picture him with the rag over his shoulder, another rag cleaning out a cup. He's like, would
Totally.
you like the
With-
coffee?
The black jacket, the white shirt parted so the eyeballs just looking out of it,
That's amazing.
I would
Bok Bok working the kitchen in the back.
Aw.
And people never getting exactly what they order because
Nope.
it's Bok Bok that makes it,
Yeah.
and you're a lizard folk, so you can't really tell what it's supposed to look like. So you're like, here's your eggs, and it's like looks like cat food or something.
Yeah, I love that idea. Really
But
like
the
that
beer's
idea.
cheap, so people keep coming to your establishment. That's great.
That's a great
I
idea.
guess for Stanley, it would be a couple things. Seeing as we're gonna go over it, I guess I can just ask you right away.
Yeah, we can
Is,
talk
Ge-
about it now.
is George's family still alive?
You want? So that's the thing you would want to go out and do. I'd save that for you'll find out.
Oh, okay.
So
that-
what you would say to me is, I guess you kind of already said it. Nash and I will go pay a visit to the Miller family
Mhm.
to
Right.
offer their respects. So
I mean, the way I think it would go, and this would be just my plan, and we can decide if that's something we play out or not, is I would take Nash below where George is buried. We would pop him out of the earth. I would cast Speak with Dead, find out where his family lived, who they were, and what his final words would be to his family. And rebury him, go find them, and then Nash can talk to him. I don't think Stanley would actually go.
okay.
have that doll to return, so I'm doing that no matter what.
Okay. Well, I'll be in communication with all of you to get these written down and get information back to you guys, and then we can sort of decide from there.
Beyond
Yeah,
that,
that's
Stanley
interesting.
is going to do what he asked Hope about. He's going to try to set up whether he's considered a doctor, or he would work there to some degree, but he is going to try to set up some sort of medical clinic in
Okay,
Trashburg
cool.
for the
So
people.
you're thinking like a hospital kind of a thing?
Right.
Perfect.
I like how this is a challenge. Like, you know, when you do something you're bad at, and you're like, "No, I'm going to get good at this," because you had, you tried to be a doctor and it didn't go well, and you're like, "No, I can do this."
Mm-hmm.
So we got Varel the barkeep, we got Stanley the Dr. Billings.
Dr. Billings.
I mean,
he doing his residency. It's not that he's going to be full doctor right off.
he knows even if he could learn it, he's not going to be here forever. So part of it is managing the setup,
Yeah.
but he would definitely do what he could because he also is in charge of keeping these chuckleheads alive
Right.
half the time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
seeing what Hope went through, seeing what everybody's gone through, he knows he's a healer.
Yeah.
He knows
How
what his
many-
role is.
How many people in Dungeons and Dragons perform surgery and do amputations to save their friend? I mean, you are unique among players in that you've had that experience.
That's true. I don't know.
It's a rough one.
Never even heard of it before until
You
you did.
all participated. It wasn't like one guy's good at surgery. The whole party was part of it. I think that'll be one of my favorite moments of the past year. Now, we can talk about that next week, that kind of stuff. But I love that.
All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. I think the watchers and listeners and everybody will as well. I think that'll be a really good time, and we can talk about the future, the past, and what we intend to do in the meantime. And when you guys see this little thing John worked up for his one-off / mini campaign, you're gonna love it. Some really cool stuff in there. So I'm excited about that as well. Sorry, Bo, you were saying.
Spoilers. Kristen's character is incredible.
Yeah. Spoilers.
So is Bo's, for that matter. You will
Yeah, I
all
was gonna say.
love Bo's.
Yeah.
I don't want to force them into anything, so I don't want to say too much about either one. But oh my gosh, there's 2 characters so far, and I think they're amazing.
Sweet. I need to get mine going.
Am I hearable right now, or am I getting lag?
No, you're hearable.
I hear
Are
you.
Are we
You're
lagging for you?
Hearable.
Yeah, I'm lagging on my end.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I think so where we'll wrap it, like story-wise, the last sort of final moments of what's happening with your characters is at the party. You get drunk, you revel. No one here is going to go off brooding, and that's sort of
No.
our last. That's our closing scene. If I can leave listeners with one sort of final picture, just picture the hall in Tiet Kala filled with tieflings and filled with alcohol and tables and raucousness.
Is
Yeah.
Angela, she's singing? Or no?
No, she's been through a lot. She's not gonna. I mean, unless you
What?
want her
Should we
to.
drunkenly
She's got to have
sing?
fans.
Angela, so you gotta sing.
She has to have fans
The
there.
queen demands
Yeah.
it.
Okay, all right. So everyone sort of pressures her into singing, and she performs a few numbers during this as well
All right.
for everyone. It's your party, and you're the queen, so she's not going to say no to you.
Yeah, she can water my.
You're like,
Good.
sing, you damn
That
elf!
was
I
your
want.
place.
She can water my delicate succulent later, if you know what I mean.
Whoa! So you do close the deal that night, then, Nash?
Well,
Or-
I'm not saying. I'm saying.
I think you did earlier. I think we already established.
Okay,
this.
then I did. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to make some rolls to see if you're gonna be a father.
Okay. I have a really dumb idea about that I will pass through you before we ever make a
I'm
decision.
so excited to hear.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want Scott's character to have a child, to be expecting,
Yeah.
to do the fatherhood thing. He
I am-
loves children. He
I
loves
do.
family, and I feel
Yeah, and
like-
even Nash has shown his big weaknesses. He's a total sucker for this doll, George's kid.
Pod was like a child to you.
Pod was like my own kid. Yeah, I that's both me and this character, so I think it's fitting. But I have a very cool fantasy way to do this that I think everyone's gonna like. So I'll share
What to
that.
expect in the solar mine.
Yeah. What to expect when you're expecting. We used to have that book in the Solar Mines. Don't give me other ideas. But yes, I have an idea, Bo. Don't worry. I'll shower you with it soon.
She gave birth to a cactus.
Nope.
It's so much like its father.
Prickly
It's a bit of a
and
prick.
yeah, it's kind of a prick. And
And it's green.
it's green.
Yeah.
No good can come of him. There you go. All right. Well, sweet. We'll reconvene
That's
then next week, and that's where we'll be. Thank you, everybody who's been with us so far. There's a few names in the chat today who have been here every single week since day one.
Yes.
And have not missed a minute of what we've done. And I know there are people who listen to the podcast in the same way that can't be here live. Just a big shout out to them for being awesome and being here each and every time that we do this. I think that's probably going to do it. I think if there's anything else I'm supposed to mention. Well, don't forget, you still get these signature teas real easy. Head on over to phoenixpearltea.com, or you can go to our site, therewillbedungeons.com. There's a link there. And grab one of our teas. Today we gave away Fate 4 Cinnamon Walnut Smoked Black Tea. We'll do more giveaways in the future. But if you're looking for the TWBD signature tea blends, they're all there, and we really like them, and they'll take good care of you as well. So go check that out. In the meantime, therewillbedungeons.com is the website. You can contact us there, find all our other information there, and so on. We got some big, cool stuff coming to the site soon, so watch for that. I think that's everything. Bo, good job, everybody. Thank
That's
you.
it. Again, a final hand to listeners, players, and everyone for being amazing. And enjoy the revelry.
Yeah, have a fun time. Go get drunk yourselves, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
And
Celebrate.
We'll see you guys next week. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Yeah. Whee!